Alright guys, so as we play some Black Ops 7 beta right over here, I'm going to be talking to you guys about all the 9 to 5 jobs that helped me become the person that I am today. Now I see a lot of people, right, they think 9 to 5 jobs is bad. Oh yeah, 9 to 5, I don't want to, it's not going to make me rich. Oh yeah, I want to be a streamer, I want to be a YouTuber, I want to be a business owner. I don't have to go to college and blah blah blah. Working is a waste of time. I'm a slave, I'm an employee, your boss doesn't care. All this kind of bullshit, right? Like to me guys, I appreciate 9 to 5 jobs. You know what I'm saying? But for me, my perspective is the reason why I don't want to stay a 9 to 5 job forever is because I need to take care of my family. I need to make as much money as possible so I can go ahead and provide the best opportunities for my family, for my mom, retire them. And I feel like if I was to continue working a 9 to 5 job for the rest of my life, I wouldn't be able to give back to them like that. You know what I'm saying? And, not just my family and friends, and not my friends, but my family and whatever, my parents and whatever, but even like for my future kids, you know what I'm saying? For my wife and everything, you know what I'm saying? So it gets to the point where I have to go ahead and make, just analyze and say, okay, these 9 to 5 jobs, the ones that I'm working at, previously the past 6 years, is not going to take me to where I want to be in the future. Right, so I have to work hard, but not only just work hard and be consistent and disciplined, but also work hard and work hard but not only just work hard at that, but also be smart. You know what I'm saying? Work hard and work smart. A lot of people, they're working hard at jobs that's not even going to make them $20,000 a month. That's not even going to get them $1 million. You know what I'm saying? They're working so hard, working at Taco Bell, knowing realistically you're never going to go ahead and make as much money as possible. I used to work with this. I think he's the same age as me. I don't remember, but I used to work with this Filipino kid, right? I met him back in 2021. I was 18 years old at that time in 2021. And pretty much we was working together. And he still was kind of keeping in contact with me a couple years after. Like, I haven't really talked to him this year, but like last year in 2024, 2023, I left the job in like 2022. So like a couple years later, he still was a little bit communicating. He was texting me here and there, talking about his jobs and all that. But even till to this day, right? Today is October 9th, 2025 when I'm filming this, but he still works at Taco Bell. But the past couple of years, he would always tell me, oh yeah bro, my goals is I just want to work hard, and working hard is going to pay off. And if I work hard at Taco Bell and all these jobs, then I'm going to go ahead and be successful. And I said, bro, realistically, that's very idealistic of you to think like that. And the reason is because, bro, when I used to work at Taco Bell, I was only freaking getting paid $11 an hour. I had a 10-cent raise in 2021. Oh wow, plenty. Yeah, I was getting paid 11.10. And pretty much guys, in order for me to make at least $1,000 paycheck after tax, I had to go ahead and work about like 100 hours every 2 weeks. And that's why every single day, that was during the pandemic, I used to go Monday to Friday 7 a.m. and I would stay till like 10 p.m. every single day. And then on the weekends I was working at landscaping, but I was barely getting by. Like I was able to stack up money, but you know what I'm saying, like it got to the point where why would I have to want to work hard doing 100 hours every 2 weeks? Just, you know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, when I could just put that same energy into a scalable business that'll make me more money, then I can start another. So it gets to the point where I don't want to waste my time doing these kind of things. So working hard is not the way to go. It is one of the things, right? You have to work hard, but you also got to work hard and work smart and work at certain things that is going to pay off more in the long run. So yeah, he used to tell me that. I was like, bro, this kid, bro, this Filipino kid, he don't know what he's talking about. Like all these, I don't know what his dad telling him or whatever, but no. But anyways, guys, yeah. Go back to let's talk about my job history real quick, right? So my first job was 2019, right? I was 16 years old. I was in high school at that time. I was about to become a senior in high school. And at that time in my life, right, I was doing all kinds of different things. I was playing football, tackle football. I was doing combat sports, running, swimming, biathlon. I was in a private school, but I grew up in the ghetto, so I had the best of both worlds. I was taking college credit courses because my past high school career, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, I had shitty ass grades, and I just wanted to up my GPA and prove to myself because it was going to be my last year in high school, and I just wanted to prove to myself that I was able to do it. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't a jackass in high school, taking for granted all this kind of opportunities and didn't try my best. So I took a lot of college credit courses. And then on the weekends, I was going to church, and also I was working at my landscaping job. So my landscaping job when I was 16, right, it taught me so many different skills. So not only does it make me money, but also it gave me so many different life lessons, life skills, life attributes, and different things that, like, wow, that made me a better version of myself. So this is why, right, listen to what I'm going to say, guys. This is why 9 to 5 is so important, because not only does it stack up your income, but in the meantime, when you're young, you're building up your real life experiences, you're building up your skill sets, you're building up your characteristics and your life lessons and different life attributes. And like, there's just so many different things that a regular 9 to 5 job can teach you. especially when you're young, when you're inexperienced in the real world, when you haven't gone through anything, when you don't have any experience with doing certain things. This is where 9 to 5 comes in, comes in clutch. So I was watching another YouTube video the other day, and they're saying that 9 to 5 job could be used as a weapon for you in a positive way. It is a weapon. You know how powerful that is to make you a better version of yourself? Like, it teaches you so much. So when I was working landscaping, right, what did it teach me? Obviously, it taught me so many different skill sets that I didn't even know, like cutting grass, operating machines. It taught me how to drive because I was driving a golf cart. So that's how I learned how to drive a real vehicle, literally. And then I drove like sit-down forklifts. I was doing painting roads and curbs. I was going ahead and, cleaning the fish pond and planting grass. I was doing like gardening. I was lawn mower. I just said that. I was leaf blowing. Like, there's so many different things. I just can't think right now at the top of my head. But there's so many different skill sets that I learned. But important life lessons that I learned was teaching me more about responsibility, accountability. You know what I'm saying? Like, every time that I went to the job, right, I would come in like early, like before 6 o'clock, like 5:30 in the morning. And I was the only worker on the weekends. 16 years old, only worker on the weekends, not even of age yet. My boss used to live on the property, but she was always going out, she was doing meetings. She wasn't really around only certain times, but it was my responsibility to come in, open up the front gate, make sure that everything was locked up. And that was like a sketchy area too that I used to work in. It was like near the airport, but there was always like homeless people that would come in and they'll roam the area, and it was kind of sketchy, guys. Like, there was a lot of experiences where I was kind of like, oh, bro, like I was sketched out, you know what I'm saying? Like, I had to go ahead and make sure I had a weapon on me, or make sure I had my golf cart in case I had to dip out, yeah, or in case I had to throw hands. But I was like, oh, bro, kind of sketchy, yeah. So I had to make sure that everything was good. I had to come into the office, clock in, make sure that I grabbed my tools and supplies, make sure that the golf cart was always plugged in and not, like sometimes you gotta charge them, and sometimes if you leave it in too long, it might, whatever. But there was so many different things that I had to do. And then there was other times my basic job responsibilities was to go ahead and make sure that, all the people that coming in, because the place that I used to clean up was like this community halls. There's like a lot of different buildings and venues. And people would come in, right, to set up and do graduation parties, to throw birthday parties, to have like business meetings and whatever, or church services. So I would have to open the gates, make sure that everything was safe and sound, make sure that everything was working, making sure that, there was no sketchy people coming in, making sure there was no homeless people. So it taught me so much about responsibility and accountability, especially at a young age. And that's what made me literally more mature. A lot of kids nowadays, they fucking forget the basic shit in their life. Oh, I forgot my keys. Oh, I forgot my wallet. Oh, I forgot to turn off the stove. Now the house is gonna burn down. Like, that kind of stupid ass immature shit is not gonna cut it in the real world. You need to be professionals, and you need to be a professional at doing the small things in life too. Like making sure I don't forget my keys at my landscaping job, because if I forget it, my boss is gonna take money out of my paycheck and she's gonna yell at me, and I don't want to look like a jackass, and all the other older guys are gonna roast me, because I'm a little kid, and oh, I forgot my keys and blah. Like, you can't forget that. Or making sure, oh, I don't let in strangers, I'm saying, making sure that I double check and make sure that's the right person coming into the building, or it could be a fucking sketchy person, or making sure that I lock up the gate so that there's no homeless people trying to open the fence and steal the gas and steal our equipment. Like, there were so many different things, and I think that's why I was an overthinker at that job. I remember I would come in and I would literally like triple check. Like, I would go, and when I'm putting my things away, I triple check. Did I plug in my golf cart into the outlet? Is it like good right over here? Did I make sure that the parking brake is on? Did I make sure that I put the gasoline back and that is not out and I didn't spill it and it doesn't blow up the shed? Did I make sure that I put my tools and equipment back? You know what I'm saying? Put it down so that it doesn't fall over when the guys open it. Did I lock up the shed? Did I lock up the compound? Did I go ahead and clock out and make sure that the lights are off? Did I make sure that there's like stray cats? Did I make sure that the stray cats wasn't locked inside of the building? Because that's what I did one time and my boss got mad at me. Did I make sure to lock up the gate and throw around the chain around the fence and put the lock in at a certain degree so that it doesn't, come off if someone tries to jingle it? Like that, I would literally go around like double times. I was like, frick, bro, fuck. Like, I was kind of overthinking at one point. I was like going home, I was like, did I do that? And then I was kind of like overthinking, right? I was like, oh shit. But it taught me so much about being professional at the small things, right? And being responsible. So this is so important and applicable, right, into like other other greater things like your business or running a company or going to the gym. You just got to be responsible. It taught me so many different things, how to work with older people, right? A lot of the guys, they're in their 40s and 50s. My boss was like 50 years old. Like, I was a kid. I was literally a minor. Like, I wasn't even of age yet. And I was working with all these adults and all these things. So it got to the point where it taught me so many different things. It taught me how to multitask. It taught me how to go ahead and, speak out for myself. It taught me how to be more confident. So yeah, there's a lot of things. My second job was working at Taco Bell, right? I worked there in 2020 all the way to 2022. And what I used to do was I used to make the food. I used to do customer service. I used to do all the basic things. But the number one thing that it taught me was communication skills, because communication skills is so essential when you're trying to run your business, when you're trying to make money. Maybe you're a salesman and you're trying to go ahead door to door and trying to sell your product, right? Or maybe you're trying to sell your online course, or maybe you're trying to make an entertaining YouTube video, and if you're boring and you have no charisma and you're not confident and you're boring and you have nothing interesting to say, people are not going to watch your video. They're going to click off of it because it's boring. Oh, this guy's boring. He's speaking monotone. He has nothing interesting to say. He just keeps repeating the same things over and over again. He has nothing interesting to teach to other kids. Like communication skills is so important with business, with making money. When you're trying to go for a job interview, they want the best speakers. When you're trying to go ahead and apply to a college, you got to do an interview, right, one-on-one. Maybe you're trying to go ahead and get the girl of your dreams. You got to know how to speak, right? If you're trying to persuade a family member to stop drinking alcohol, you got to go and speak. You know what I'm saying? Like, communication was so important. That's what Taco Bell taught me. Another thing they taught me was stoicism. You know what I'm saying? Because every day we have to deal with like stupid ass people at the drive-thru or even stupid coworkers. And so, practicing controlling your emotions was very important. Especially, you can't react on emotions, guys. It taught me a lot of things. Multitasking, working under pressure, working hard with little to no reward, which is one of the most important things I also think that Taco Bell taught me. Because working hard, right? I was only getting paid $11 an hour for 2 years. 11.10 the most. But pretty much working hard, right? I didn't get paid much, but I showed up every day. I did the job. I tried my best every single day. I came in on my days off. I did double shifts. I made sure that I was well-rounded within the job. I made sure that I was reliable and people could count on me. I just made sure that everything was good, even if the reward was little, because I know that with that mentality, I can go far. When I'm trying to start a business, when I'm trying to start a YouTube, right? I'm not going to get views right away. I'm not going to get monetized right away. I'm barely going to see any reward. This is not even going to work out for me within the first couple of years, right? Why am I doing this? Because I know I need to work hard no matter what the reward is, because in the future it's going to pay off. Even when you're going to the gym. Maybe, you're trying to get in shape, but you're not losing weight right away. It's going to take time, right? It's going to take delayed gratification. You're not going to get it instantly, right? So you got to keep working hard. You're going to give up because you don't see results right away, because you're not rewarded right away, because you want instant gratification. That's not how life works, and that's what Taco Bell taught me. I used to work at this high school job, right, in 2022. I used to go ahead and, just work in the cafeteria department, and it taught me a lot of different things, too. You know what I'm saying? I used to drive cars at Enterprise. It taught me not to be lazy and be content with my situation. I used to work at warehouse jobs and warehouse companies. But the overall point of this video is that, despite you guys saying that 9-to-5 jobs is a bad thing, I feel like it's a good thing. Now, here's the twist, all right? The thing is, you don't want to stay at 9-to-5 job forever, right? Especially if you're working like blue-collar jobs like me, because I didn't go to college to get a degree and get a great job, a 6-figure job. So that's not a route that I'm going to go. But if you're like me, where you're doing the non-traditional route and you're just working regular 9-to-5 jobs that's easily accessible and is entry level and you don't need experiences and you get paid like minimum wage, like $19, $20 an hour, you don't want to stay there forever. Like, you always want to work your way up. I don't care if you're working up your way up the company. Maybe you're an employee like me, and then you become a manager. And then after you become a manager at Taco Bell, then you go ahead and become the one in charge, right? The store manager, right, of the store. And then when you do the store manager, maybe you become the what is that called? Like, the area manager. Like, you run multiple Taco Bells in the area, so you're managing that. And then maybe from there, maybe you go ahead and apply to a better company that pays you more, and then you work your way up. And then maybe you have so much experiences and knowledge of it, maybe you start your own company. And then from there, right, you keep working your way up to the top. But for me, guys, don't ever be comfortable with your situation. Don't ever be comfortable with just being an employee for the rest of your life. Don't ever be comfortable with just getting paid $11 an hour. You work your way up, and you keep striving to be better, right? Better, better, better. So 9 to 5 job is good when you're young and good when you're trying to pay the bills and you're trying to get income right away. You know, you're getting guaranteed income, but also it's good to build up your life skills, your life attributes, your life lessons, your skill sets, your characteristics, and just all these things. It's all good for those kind of things to make you a better version of yourself. So keep doing it, and yeah, do it temporarily, and you don't want to stay to 9 to 5 to like, I see a lot of like coworkers I used to work with before, they was all in their 60s. Like I was like, oh bro, like these guys, they was working in their 60s. And you guys don't want to get to that point where you have to work till you're 65 or 70 years old to go ahead and retire later on in life. So nowadays it's so easy to start a business, and it's so easy to find ways to make more money. So utilize our time period now. Utilize today's technology. Utilize 9 to 5 jobs. Right, back in the day, right, all these 60-year-olds, they didn't have freaking computers. They couldn't record themselves and make YouTube videos and post on TikTok and get monetized. They couldn't get sponsorship deals. They couldn't start an e-commerce business through their computer screen. They couldn't watch YouTube videos to get educated and get free education from all these content creators and shit like that. There was no such thing as DoorDash or Uber Eats or trying to sell on eBay or Mercari or do like online cryptocurrency. Like there was less opportunities back in the day, right? It was just work a regular 9 to 5 job, go to school, get a degree, blah blah blah. Nowadays, right, we don't have no excuses to not be a better version of ourselves in every realm possible. Make a lot of money, to be in shape, to go ahead and run businesses, to take care of our family, to have a lot of important skill sets, because it's so easy to get it nowadays, right? It's so easy to acquire it. So anyways, guys, get to work and get your ass up. Let's go.